Before we begin, I want to tell you something important in our culture. Many people believe only male children matter. But this story will show us that female children are just as precious and important. A daughter can carry the family name with pride. She can bring joy, success, and honor to her family, just like a son. Remember, the true value of a child is in their love, respect, and hard work, not their gender. Please do me a small favor, hit that subscribe button and join our family. Your support means the world to me and helps me share more amazing stories like this with you. Thank you so much for being here. Now, let's dive into the story. In one small quiet village in the eastern part of Nigeria, there lived a poor woman named Mummy Ken. She was a widow and had only one child son, Ken. From the day Ken was born, everybody in the village knew he was special. He didn't cry too much like other babies. He was calm, his eyes always sharp like someone who came from the city, and his mother always said he came into this world with a strong star. Ken, my Pekin, said, Mummy Ken, you will be greater than 10 men put together. Your name go reach places my legs no fit reach. Ken was her everything. She lost her husband when Ken was just 2 years old. Life became hard. She would wake up early every morning, tie her wrapper tight, and go to the farm just to make sure her son had food to eat. She didn't have much, but she gave Ken everything she could. Some days, they only ate roasted yam with red oil, but Ken never complained. Ken grew up fast. As a small boy, he liked to help his mother with work. He would carry small firewood on his head, fetch water with a yellow jerrycan, and run errands for old women in the village just to collect coins. Everybody in the village loved him. He was respectful, neat, and always greeted elders with, "Good morning, sir." "Good morning, ma." When he turned 6, his mother took him to the only primary school in the village. The school was far, and Ken had to walk 1 hour every morning to get there. The classroom was an old building with broken windows, and benches made from wood that cut people's legs if they were not careful. But Ken didn't mind. He loved school. Even though Mummy Ken didn't go to school herself, she believed in education. "My son must wear shoe," she would tell people. "Even if na my head him go stand on, him go reach town." Ken worked hard in class. His teachers noticed how bright he was. He could read faster than others and he always came first in spelling and maths. Sometimes when the teacher was tired, they would call Ken to teach the class. His mother was proud. Every evening after school, Ken would come back, drop his bag, and run to the bush to cut firewood for his mother to sell. Then he would sit under the moonlight and read his books with the help of a small kerosene lantern. Other children called him Book Man, but Ken didn't care. He had a dream. When Ken was about 10 years old, he sat with his mother after eating boiled maize and coconut. "Mummy," he said. "Yes, my son," she answered, using her wrapper to fan herself. "I want to be rich one day. I want to build you a big house with tiles and fan. I go buy you fine wrapper, the one big men's wives they wear. I go make you proud." Mummy Ken smiled and hugged her son. Tears gathered in her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. "Amen, my son. Na my prayer be that." She looked up at the sky and whispered, "God, this boy na all I get. Please help am." Ken continued with school. He finished primary school as the best in his class. On his graduation day, he wore borrowed white shirt and oversized trousers, but he didn't mind. His mother danced that day. She danced so hard that her wrapper almost fell off. "See my son oh," she shouted. "Na only me born am, but go feed one community." After that, Ken started secondary school. He had to move to the nearby town to attend a better school. Mummy Ken borrowed money from a women's meeting group, sold some firewood, and even gave out her favorite wrapper to raise transport and feeding money for Ken. "Go and learn, Ken. I go survive here," she told him. In the town, life was harder. Ken stayed with a distant uncle who treated him like a servant. He woke up early, washed plates, swept compound, and sometimes missed school. But he never gave up. He would use candlelight to read in the night, and during break in school, he would sit alone to revise. Every weekend, he would go to the market to help a bookseller arrange books and clean shelves. The man gave him change and sometimes old textbooks. Back home in the village, Mummy Ken kept praying. Every night, she knelt beside her mat and said the same prayer. "God, bless my son. He no get father, but make him be father to many. Let his light shine." Ken finished secondary school and passed his final exams in flying colors. The whole village heard the news. People came to greet his mother. Mummy Ken, you're peeking na real blessing. That boy go change this village oh. Mummy Ken would just smile and say, to God be the glory. But even with good results, Ken could not go to university. There was no money. Still, God was not done with Ken. One day, something happened that, after Ken finished secondary school with good grades, life still was not easy. He wanted to go to university, but there was no money for fees or books. His mother, Mummy Ken, cried many nights, praying for a miracle. One morning, Ken met a kind man in the market. This man was very rich, a big businessman called Chief. The chief had many cars, big houses, and people who worked for him. Ken was sweeping the floor of a bookshop when Chief stopped by. Boy, you work hard, I like that, Chief said, smiling. Ken bowed, thank you, sir. Chief looked at Ken carefully, then said, I want to give you a job in my company. You will start as my driver and assistant. Ken's eyes opened wide. Thank you, sir. I will not disappoint you. From that day, Ken began to work for Chief. Early every morning, Ken woke up and dressed neatly. He polished the chief's shoes, cleaned the cars, and ran errands. Ken never complained, even when the work was hard. He was grateful for this chance. Sometimes, Chief would take Ken with him to meetings. Ken learned a lot by watching how the chief talked and handled business. The chief liked Ken because Ken was honest and smart. After many months, Chief called Ken to his office. Ken, you have worked well. I want to help you start your own business. Here is some money, Chief said as he handed Ken a big envelope. Ken could not believe it. Thank you, sir. I promise to work hard. With that money, Ken started a small trading business. He bought goods from the city and sold them in the village and nearby towns. Because Ken was hardworking and honest, his business grew quickly. People started calling him Oga Ken because he was becoming rich. He built a house for his mother and sent money back to the village. Mummy Ken was very proud. Ken never forgot his promise to his mother. He still remembered the days when they had only roasted yam to eat, and now he was a rich young man. His dream was coming true. Ken's success made many people jealous, but he did not mind. He stayed humble and always helped people when he could. After Chief gave Ken money to start his own business, Ken did not waste time. He traveled to big cities like Onitsha where many goods come from. He bought clothes, shoes, and food items in bulk. Then he brought them back to his village and sold to people at good prices. Because Ken was honest and always fair with customers, people trusted him. His business grew fast. Soon, Ken hired helpers and opened a small shop in the market. Ken's mother, Mummy Ken, was very happy. She told everyone, my son Don become OGA for town. He no be small peking again. Ken was proud, but he never forgot where he came from. Every month, he sent money to the village to fix the school, build the road, and help the poor families. One day, Ken's friends asked him, Ken, you don't get money. Why you no marry yet? Ken smiled and said, my mother wants me to marry from the village, so she go get good wife for me. Mummy Ken believed strongly in tradition. In their village, it was very important to marry a woman from the same community. This way, the family would grow strong, and no one would forget their roots. One afternoon, Mummy Ken called. My son, it is time for you to marry. I done find fine girl for you. Ken was a bit shy but trusted his mother. He agreed to go back to the village and meet the girl. When Ken arrived, the whole village gathered. There was dancing, singing, and food. Ken met a beautiful young lady named Vivian. She was from their village, gentle, and kind. Ken and Vivian got married with a big celebration. Everyone was happy. Ken's mother was proud that her son had a wife from the village. Ken and Vivian started their life together. After some time, Vivian gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. Ken was happy but also a little worried. In their village, having a male child was very important. A son would carry the family name, inherit the land, and continue the father's work. A family without a son was seen as incomplete. Ken wanted a son, but Vivian gave birth only to daughters. After Vivian gave birth to a baby girl, Ken and his mother became worried. Male child was very important. Without a son, it felt like the family tree would stop. Ken's mother, Mummy Ken, spoke to him one day. Ken, my son, you must marry again. Maybe this second wife go give you male child. Ken was not happy to hear this. He loved Vivian and did not want to hurt her feelings. But Mummy Ken was strong and old-fashioned. She said, "Nah, tradition be this. No be my idea." Ken agreed and went to find another wife in the village. This woman's name was Chica. She was young and beautiful. Ken married her with another big party. At first, Chica was happy. She wanted to make Ken proud and have his children. But when she gave birth, it was another girl. Ken and his mother were silent. They had hoped for a boy this time. Chica's heart was broken. She felt she had failed Ken and the family. Vivian comforted her, but the village people started talking. "Ken no fit get male child," they said. "How the man go continue his name?" Ken felt pressure from all sides. Even his wives felt the pain. But he still loved his daughters. Despite everything, Ken decided to keep trying. He believed maybe a third wife would bring the son. Ken was tired but still hopeful. He knew the pressure from his mother and the village was strong. People were already talking behind his back. One evening, Mummy Ken said, "Ken, you must marry one more time. This third wife go surely bring male child." Ken did not want to disappoint his mother again. He searched the village and found a young woman named Ifoma. She was gentle and quiet but also strong. Ken married Ifoma in a simple ceremony. He promised to treat her well. But after some months, Ifoma also gave birth to a girl. Ken's heart sank. The village gossip grew louder. Ken's family no get male child. People whispered, "Without son, the family name go die." Ken hated hearing this. He loved his daughters deeply. But in his heart, he felt something was missing. He tried to focus on his business and family. Yet every time he looked at his wives and daughters, the worry came back. Would he ever have a son to carry his name? The talk in the village became louder and sharper. People whispered wherever Ken went. Even some close friends began to avoid him. "Ken no get son. How go be when he die?" they said. In the village, the son was not just a child. The son was the future. He would inherit the land, perform the family rituals, and keep the name alive. Without a son, the family's spirit was believed to disappear. Ken felt pain deep inside. He loved all his daughters, but he hated how the village treated him. Sometimes, he wished he had a son just to prove the people wrong. At home, Ken became angry. He was kind with his wives and daughters, but inside, frustration grew. He stopped talking much. He spent more time in his business office. His wives noticed the change. Vivian asked gently, "Ken, why you no smile again?" Ken answered coldly, "Because people say I no fit carry my family." Chica and Ifoma cried quietly. They loved their daughters but knew the village had made Ken bitter. One day, Ken called all his daughters together. He looked at their faces, so innocent and bright. "I want better for you," he said. "But people no respect my house because no get son." His daughters did not understand why their father was sad. They only knew they were loved but also feared the world outside. Ken's heart was heavy, but he kept trying. He believed one day, something good would happen. Ken was desperate. He loved his daughters, but the pressure to have a son was strong. The village belief was clear. No male child, no family name. This worry made Ken restless. One evening, Ken went to the village elder, one native doctor. "Native doctor, I want a son," Ken said quietly. "Please, help me." The man was wise and old. He looked at Ken kindly. "Ken, sometimes the gods test us. But there are ways to ask for their favor," native doctor said. Native doctor gave Ken special herbs and told him to perform certain rituals. Ken followed the instructions carefully. He prayed at the shrine, fasted, and gave offerings to the gods. Ken's wives also joined him in prayers. They hoped and prayed hard to have a son. Months passed, but no son came. Ken's hope started to fade. Some villagers whispered, maybe the gods no like Ken. Maybe he did something wrong. Ken felt hurt. He wondered if all this was his fate. But Ken was not ready to give up. He decided to visit other priests and herbalists, hoping for a miracle. He spent a lot of money and time, but the result was the same, daughters only. The village's anger and disappointment grew louder. People no longer whispered quietly, they talked openly. Ken no fit give male child, they said. How the family go survive? Some elders said, no male child, no inheritance. The family name go die with am. Even strangers in the market knew Ken's problem. It was like a curse. Ken heard the gossip everywhere. It hurt him deeply, but he kept silent. At home, Ken's heart was breaking. His wives tried to comfort him, but they all felt the weight of the village's anger. One night, After drinking palm wine with his friends, Ken said sadly, "If no son come, my family no go last." His friends tried to cheer him up, but the words stayed heavy in the air. Ken's love for his daughters remained, but his hope for a son was fading. He began to avoid the village gatherings. The shame was too much. At times, Ken thought about leaving the village and starting fresh somewhere else. But his mother reminded him, "This is your home, Ken. You must stay." The pain inside Ken grew. He was a rich man with many daughters, but in his heart, something was missing. Ken's heart was heavy every day. The village pressure was like a big stone on his chest. Even though he had money, daughters, and wives who loved him, Ken felt empty inside. He started to sleep poorly. Sometimes, he woke up in the middle of the night thinking, "What if I never get a son? What will happen when I die?" Ken's mind became a place of worry and fear. He stopped enjoying the things he once loved: his business, his friends, and even his family. His mother, Mummy Ken, tried to comfort him, but Ken pushed her away. "Why are you sad, my son?" she asked softly. Ken replied, "Mummy, the village no respect me. No son, no name. How I go face them?" Ken's wives saw his sadness too. They tried to bring joy back into the house by cooking his favorite meals and telling stories, but nothing worked. Ken went to the river to pray alone. He asked God for peace and strength. "God, if I no get son, please help me accept what I have," Ken whispered. In that moment, Ken felt a little calm, but the fear did not leave completely. Ken knew deep inside he must find a way to live with his daughters and be happy. Ken's sadness grew stronger with each passing day. The pressure from the village, the worry about having no son, and the weight of family expectations became too much for him. After a long day in his business office, Ken felt very tired and weak. He sat alone in his room, thinking about everything: his wives, his daughters, and the future. Ken's mind was heavy with thoughts. He felt like the whole world was against him. The shame and pain were too much. Suddenly, in a moment of deep despair, Ken made a terrible decision. He took a rope and went to a tree near his house. His wives and daughters searched for him when he did not come back. The village people heard the sad news quickly. Ken was found hanging from the tree. The village was shocked and silent. People whispered, "The man who wanted a son too much has died." Ken's mother cried bitterly. She could not believe her only son was gone. The daughters cried for their father. They did not understand why he left them. Though Ken was gone, the story of his life and struggle stayed in the village. It was a sad lesson for everyone. After Ken's death, but he was under too much pressure, another elder added. "Our tradition made him suffer." Some younger people spoke up. They said, "Why should a man's worth depend on having a son? Daughters are also children of the family." The village began to question their old beliefs. Was it right to judge Ken because he had no son? Ken's mother also spoke to the people. "My son loved his daughters very much. They are his blood. We should respect them." The villagers started to see things differently. They realized their tradition had caused pain to a good man and his family. Ken's daughters grew up with respect from the village. People helped them go to school and encouraged them to be strong. The story of Ken became a lesson that love and family are more important than just having a son. After Ken's death, his daughters became the center of the family. Vivian, Chica, and Ifoma worked hard to care for them. The village now respected the girls, but life was not easy. The oldest daughter, Amaka, was strong and smart. She knew the village still talked about her father's story. Sometimes, people would stare or whisper. Amaka told her sisters, "We must work hard and show them we are strong, even without a brother." The girls went to school, but the village expectations stayed in their minds. Some boys laughed at them, saying, "No son, no name." But the girls did not listen. They focused on their studies and dreams. Amaka wanted to be a businesswoman like her father. The second daughter, Chica, wanted to become a nurse, and the youngest, Amaka, dreamed of becoming a teacher. Their mothers supported them. Vivian often said, "Your father loved you more than anything. You are his true legacy." The girls faced challenges but kept moving forward. Slowly, the village began to respect the daughters more, seeing their strength and kindness. Ken's daughters were ready to change the story of their family. As the years passed, Ken's daughters worked very hard. Their success started to change how the village saw things. Amaka became a smart businesswoman. She opened a shop in the village and sold goods that people needed. Many villagers came to buy from her because she was honest and kind. Chika went to school and became a nurse. She helped many sick people in the village and brought new hope to the community. Ifoma became a teacher. She taught children in the village school and encouraged girls to study hard. People began to talk differently. Ken's daughters are strong and smart, they said. They bring honor to their family. The villagers started to respect daughters more. Parents who once said, "No son, no name," began to change their minds. Even Mama Nkechi felt proud. She told people, "My granddaughters are my son's true legacy." The village started to see that family is about love, not just having a male child. Ken's daughters became a symbol of change. They showed the village a new way forward. With the success of Ken's daughters, the village slowly began to change its old beliefs. The idea that only sons could carry the family name started to lose its power. Parents began to celebrate their daughters as much as their sons. At weddings and festivals, people talked proudly about strong daughters and smart girls. The village elders met to discuss how to make these changes official. The native doctor stood before the crowd and said, "We must honor all children equally." Sons and daughters both carry the family name with Mummy Ken smiled, feeling peace in her heart. She had always believed love was stronger than tradition. The new thinking brought the village closer together. Families supported each other, and the girls in the village felt more confident about their futures. Even some families who had no sons felt hope again. Ken's story was told to remind everyone that love and respect matter more than just having a male child. The village was becoming a better place, full of kindness and hope. So, my people, this story of Ken, a young wealthy man from the village who faced big trouble because he no get son. He tried everything, even married 3 wives, but only daughters were born. The village judged him harshly, and the pressure killed him in the end. But the story no finish there. Ken's daughters grow strong, work hard, and change the mind of the whole village. They show say true legacy no be about whether you get son or not. True legacy na love, respect, and hard work. This story teaches that sometimes old traditions fit hurt good people. But if we open our minds and hearts, we fit change and make life better for everybody's sons or daughters. So, if you are watching now, remember, your worth no depend on what others say. Love your family, work hard, and make your own path. Thank you for listening to Ken's story. If you like this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more true life stories from our culture. Until next time, stay strong and stay blessed. Bye.